The Noordwood serial killer said, "The robberies, rapes, and murders made me come alive. I felt bigger when I did these things. I became something." These are the words of former police officer Kobus Geldenhuys after being arrested and charged with 2 counts of rape and 5 counts of murder. This is the type of criminal that you think of when you are laying in bed, you feel safe, and you hear something. You think, is that the door? Did someone open the door? Or is that the window? Did the window just open? The boogeyman, basically. Except it's not a monster. It's Kobus. Just a normal looking dude who's also a police officer. My name is Tanisha Geyser, and welcome to my True Crime YouTube video. Kobus Petrus Geldenhuys was born in Benoni in 1967. He was an only child. His mother, Caroline, was a staunch Christian who believed in going to Bible study every week and church every Sunday. She was a very dominant figure in his life. His father was a little bit more submissive, but just because he had a dominant mother doesn't explain why he became a serial rapist and murderer. The neighbor's daughter even described Kobus as being a very normal guy, no weird habits, just your average next door neighbor. His parents were married up until much later in his life, where his father passed away. So they were together until his father passed away. So it doesn't seem like there were any issues in their marriage, any issues in his upbringing. Nothing to be concerned about, or no red flags. When Kobus was between, let's say, 12 and 13, I couldn't get an exact age, he started committing petty theft. So he would steal money from his mother's friends' handbags when they were visiting, just take like a few rands, I'm assuming, and then go and play video games with them. This doesn't really also point to him becoming an extreme, violent offender, but he did say he grew up feeling dead, and doing these kinds of things made him feel alive. After finishing school, he really wanted to become a police officer, but unfortunately for him, he failed the entry exam. Then he joined the police railway, but in 1989, the railway police and the SA Police Service, SAPS, they joined forces. So he eventually became a police officer. Very lucky for Kobus, very unfortunate for everybody else. His colleagues described him as introverted, and he really kept to himself. They would say that if they made a joke that was below the belt, Kobus would be agitated and disgusted and leave the room. So when they found out about what Kobus was actually doing behind closed doors, or in his, I would actually call it an alternative, like his other life, when they found out about what he was actually doing, they were shocked. Nobody saw it coming because he was such a normal dude. The first crime he committed was when he was still living in Benoni with his parents on the 12th of May 1989. Kobus is at home, he's walking around the garden, and he peeps over the wall, his neighbor's wall. The same neighbor that called him normal peeps over the wall, and he felt like snooping. So he jumps over the wall, and as he's snooping, he runs into the domestic worker. She gets a fright, he gets a fright, he takes a brick and he hits her over the head, and then sets her body alight. I would say that is a little bit of an overreaction to getting a fright. So I don't think that that's what happened. And also, what was found at the scene after police come, they investigate the scene, it was found that she was naked from the waist down. But later in interviews, Kobus would say that he did not sexually assault this victim. But then why was she found naked from the waist down? And Dr. Gerard Labuschagne, he weighed in on this case, and he said that there must have been a sexual element to this case. Like, he might not have raped her, but there was definitely a sexual element in this crime. The woman that was murdered in the senseless crime was 21-year-old Francois Tunzi. He went on with his life, and he actually met his fiancé at Bible study. He was still going to Bible study while he was committing murders. His poor fiancé knew absolutely nothing and would only later find out about Kobus's extramural activities when she was watching the news with her mother. After Kobus had met his fiancée, he was now living in the police barracks, right? One night he's bored, because that's what Kobus does when he's bored. He goes out and, I guess, looks for somebody to intrude upon. No, that's not the right word. To stalk, I think, is a better word. So he sees this apartment, climbs in the window. He steals a few CDs, a CD player, and then takes the car keys of the person that lives there. He then takes the car for a joyride, parks it at the police barracks. Bold, I must say. Parks it at the police barracks, then brings it back early the next morning, leaves the keys back in the apartment. On the 6th of November 1991, Kobus returns to the same apartment. This time, he watches the woman sleep. He then starts undressing himself and she wakes up. He then rapes her. Afterwards, the 37-year-old woman asked why, and he said it was just for fun. He then throws the covers over her face and climbs back out the window. I would say, fortunately, she makes it out with her life, but this is such a traumatizing event that I don't know what the best outcome is, but she made it out of this alive. On the 26th of November in 1991, Kobus struck again. In the early morning, he broke into the flat of a 68-year-old woman. She woke up and he held a pistol against her head. He then raped her. After violating her, he asked for money, and she said it was locked away. He then kissed her and raped her again. He then threw the covers over her face and told her to sleep well, and then left. So this man was traumatizing these women. You can tell from his actions after the fact that he really enjoyed the power and control over these women. But not just that, this truly excited him. Like he said, he didn't have any feelings or empathy or any kind of emotion. So doing this, I don't know why he didn't like try bungee jumping or something, I don't know. But doing this was exciting to him, and I think it just made him feel, like he said, bigger. It made him feel something absolutely sick. On the 16th of December 1991, Kobus went into this victim's house 5 times before actually confronting her. 27-year-old Julia Hedge was having a party at her apartment with her friends. Noise got a little bit out of control and the neighbors phoned the police. Guess who was one of the police officers? Kobus, of course. This is where she caught his eye. A few nights later, he returns to her home while she's home. He goes in through the sliding door to her bedroom and starts fiddling in her bag when she wakes up. He then hit her over the head with a pistol and raped her. And because she saw his face, he shot her in the head and she died. After this, Kobus broke into 27-year-old Jennifer Macfield's apartment 3 times before actually confronting her. His visits included stealing money and items of food from the fridge. So he would open the fridge and drink milk or orange juice, and just basically he was quite careless. He would leave his DNA at the scene, which also to me points to him being very arrogant and pretty sure that he wasn't going to be caught. On the 30th of December 1991, he broke into her apartment yet again while she was asleep. She woke up, he hit her over the head, and he raped her. This time, he instructed her to climb into the bath and take a bath while he smoked a cigarette. I also read that he shared a cigarette with her, but I'm not sure about this. From what I can tell, he smoked a cigarette while she was in the bath. And because also she saw his face, he shot her in the head and she died. During this time, remember, Kobus is still engaged. He has a full-on fiancé, a full-on job that he's doing as a police officer. And Nadine's father, so his future father-in-law, is putting pressure on him, saying that he doesn't have any ambition to grow in his career and is trying to force him to take the sergeant's exam, and then eventually puts pressure on him and Nadine to break up. On the 8th of May 1992, Kobus is so upset by the situation. He goes to an apartment that is close to Nadine's home, and she lives with his family. He's so upset by the situation that he goes to 74-year-old Susan Van Rach's home. He broke into this elderly woman's home and raped her. She bravely fought back. She even tried to press the panic button, but unfortunately, Kobus overpowered her and he raped and killed her. People in Noordwood were terrified for their safety, especially crime reporter and journalist Janine Lazarus, who eventually would have interviews with Kobus. Police were doing their best investigating the crime scenes, trying to catch the person responsible for these horrific murders. As police were investigating, they found that 2 of the shells of the bullets left at the crime scene could only have belonged to either military or police. But because there was no military in the area, it must have been a policeman. So at least they were getting somewhere. Journalist Janine Lazarus was asked by the police to do them a favor. Now this to me was like insane. She was like, absolutely, I've been affected by this. I need to help out. What they asked her to do was they asked her to walk past the police barracks to try to lure this policeman out. But as we know, this isn't really his modus operandi. He assaulted and murdered his victims in their home. He enjoyed the skulking and the climbing up the drain pipes and surprising people when they were most vulnerable. So it was unlikely that this was going to work, and it didn't work. During the police investigation, they realized this must be a policeman. So they started taking fingerprints at the Noordwood police station, and Kobus knew they were closing in on him. So he moved to Benoni back to his parents, and he was transferred from Noordwood police station, I guess, to Alexandra to the Internal Stability Unit. It's here that he would find his next victim, 16-year-old Veronica Taylor. On the 15th of July 1992, Kobus went to Veronica Taylor's house, the 16-year-old girl's house. He knocks on the door, she opens up the door, and he's trying to sell her makeup. She's not interested, and she closes the door. He then goes in the back door, where he pulls a gun on her, and he says he wants money. She goes into her mother's cupboard, takes the money, and gives it to him. He then forces her on the bed, where he rapes her and shoots her. Her mother found her on her bed, her mother's bed. She found her on her bed, laying there spread eagle, murdered. When police in Noordwood heard of this murder, they immediately knew it was the Noordwood serial killer, because the modus operandi was the exact same. The only difference between this crime scene and the others is that there was no shell left behind, but the shoe prints found at the other crime scenes, as well as the fingerprints, was the same as the one of Veronica Taylor. The police at this point felt like everything was now falling into place. What made it difficult to match Kobus's DNA is that his semen and his blood sample are too different. So his semen sample is O positive, where his blood is A positive, which has been seen in another serial killer, Andrei Chikatilo, who is in Russia. Not to say that all people that have this difference in their blood groups with semen and blood are serial killers. It's just an interesting fact to know that Kobus, the serial killer, and Andre Chikatilo have the same thing. The police started focusing on people that had moved out of the barracks in the last 6 months, and there were 2 names. And they decided to focus in on one name in particular, Kobus. They decided they're going to drive down to Kobus's place and just do a light interview. When they got to Kobus's place, they started questioning him. They could tell that he was hesitant when answering, and he started to get a bit nervous. With this suspicious behavior from Kobus, the police asked him to hand over his gun, and they asked him for the serial number on his gun. But he gave a serial number that didn't match the gun. So they asked him, where is his police firearm? And he said it was locked away in the safe. They asked him, well, why didn't you just give that to us? Why? Give us the gun. They got the gun, and the serial number matched. And with this, they arrested Kobus. After his arrest, he did not say a single word to anybody. Not to police, nobody. He was completely silent. His ex-colleagues, they've been working together all this time. They could not believe that Kobus was responsible for such horrific crimes. But they did mention that Kobus would wear jerseys even in the height of summer. And they started putting 2 and 2 together, and they said this might have been to cover up scratch marks from his victims when he was fighting them. And everything kind of fell into place for them. During the trial, Kobus was sentenced to 5 death sentences. But because in 1995 the death sentence was overturned, abolished, it no longer exists, so Kobus eventually got life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. After the verdict was read, Kobus didn't really react. He just looked up and looked around and said he's sorry, and he's now given his heart to the Lord. Like, go buy. They all do that. They all do that. And it's like, we're not buying it. We're not buying it. After he went to prison, Dr. Gerard, or I think it's actually Gerard. I keep saying Gerard in all of my videos. I'm sorry, Gerard or Gerard. He interviewed Kobus, and he said a few disturbing things coming from Kobus. Kobus said he wanted to have sex without a condom, which is why he chose an elderly victim, because he deemed it the most sexually safe. Dr. Gerard says that it seemed that Kobus wanted to experience these violent fantasies and thoughts, not with his fiancé, but with anyone else. So he would have this normal life as a fiancé and a police officer, and kind of like after dark, he would have this alternative life where he was assaulting and murdering women. And I guess that's the part that made him feel alive. Kobus also said that he had absolutely no reason for doing what he did. Usually serial killers or serial rapists will say they hate women, or they'll give some excuse for why they commit these crimes, like they hate their mother or they were abused as kids. But Kobus just did not give a reason. He said he had no ill will towards these women. He didn't care. He wasn't diagnosed with any mental disorders, but he was diagnosed as a psychopath, which is like, it's a personality disorder, which means that he was perfectly fit to stand trial, fortunately, because he does know the difference between right and wrong. He just doesn't care. Dr. Gerard put it very nicely and said that psychopaths, they don't feel happiness or sadness the way that we do. Their lives are really just gray. And the only time that Kobus felt color in his life was when he was committing these crimes. Kobus says he's sorry for what he's done, but he's made peace with it. Good for you. Glad you could make peace with it. He's made peace with it, and he said he's not the same man that he used to be. He's a changed man, and everything that's happened is in his past. It's just unfortunate. It's not that simple. Kobus did get life in prison, but he has been applying for parole since 2011, every 2 years since then. Fortunately, thus far it's been denied. But Dr. Gerard thinks that Kobus will most likely eventually get parole. And that thought is absolutely terrifying to me. I don't think that Kobus should get parole. I don't think that he should get out. I think that he should stay in jail for the rest of his life. I mean, I did a story on the screwdriver rapist. He had assaulted many women, went to jail, did rehabilitation, went through a rehabilitation program, got out, and then murdered a hitchhiker. You can go and watch that story. That one is probably one of the best outcomes, I think, but you can go and watch and tell me what you think. But my point is that I don't think that just because Kobus has been in jail and possibly done a few rehabilitation programs, I don't think that he's been rehabilitated. I don't think that he gave his life over to God. He's incapable of it because he's a psychopath. Do you think that Kobus can be rehabilitated? Do you think, I mean, personally, I don't think that parole should exist for serial murderers and rapists. I don't think that they can be rehabilitated. So what is the point of parole for them? Why should they get a second chance at life when they've ended so many other people's lives, or by being a rapist, ruining so many people's lives? And it's not just women, it's men as well, it's children. Why should these people be able to get out and go live a normal life? Do you think they should? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can be rehabilitated, but from what I've researched in the past stories that I've done, it never turns out that way, that somebody is rehabilitated and has truly given their life to God. But I don't know, you tell me in the comments below if you know of any cases of people that have gone on to live normal lives after they've committed such heinous crimes. Thank you for watching today. I hope that you found this informative and interesting. What I think we can take away from this story, not that these victims literally could not do anything about this man entering their houses. I mean, he wanted to find them vulnerable, in a vulnerable state where they couldn't protect themselves, where they're completely shocked that this man is standing in their room while they were sleeping. There's nothing that these women could do. What I think we could do is, you cannot think of these people as monsters, the weird one, the quiet one, whatever. It can be anybody. And if your gut is telling you that somebody is unsafe, you are most probably right. And the best thing that you can do is listen to yourself, even if it seems like you're being rude or impolite. I'd rather be impolite and be alive, honestly. So I think that's something that we can take away from this. There's not always something that you can take away from these serial murder cases, or any murder case really, because it shouldn't be happening. But the point is that it is. And I think the best thing that you can do is always listen to your gut. If you have any suggestions on any other South African cases that I can do a deep dive on, please comment below. If you enjoyed watching this video and you'd like to see more, please subscribe and please like. Thank you so much for watching and have a great week. I will see you next week.